How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another spray painting tutorial. I wanted to make an easy painting for anyone who wants to learn how to spray paint. I know that this painting might look hard for some people, but it's actually very easy, and it doesn't really require a whole lot of steps. Now, without further ado, let's get started. So the first thing I did was cut a piece of poster board into strips and placed it evenly on the bottom half of the paper. Now, making a galaxy is pretty easy, so all I do is I take my white spray paint and I make a dot wherever I feel like putting it, like so. Then I take my neon pink and go around the white dot of spray paint. Then I apply neon blue around the neon pink. Then I take my magenta and apply it around the neon blue. Then I take my cranberry and I apply it around my magenta. And then I just apply black on the areas that I didn't touch. Now, before you make the texture with your newspaper, make sure that the paint is wet. The thing about spray paint is that it dries up really fast, and if the paint dries up, it's going to be all tacky and you're going to end up ripping the newspaper, and you're gonna have like a piece of newspaper stuck to your painting, and you might not get the texture that you are looking for. If you don't know if your painting is wet or not, you can apply clear gloss to get it wet again, just to make sure that it's wet. Like always, just apply some white spray paint on your finger and flick off any excess that might be on there, and just start flicking your finger on top of your painting to make stars. After you're done with that, take the strips of paper off and wait for your painting to dry for about maybe 5 minutes. Like I said, spray paint dries really easily, so you might not even have to wait that long. After when it's dry, take that strip of paper that you had on the bottom half of the painting earlier and put it on the top half of the painting this time. There's a few ways you can make water. I'll leave some links of my other videos on how to make water in different ways in the description below. Now take all of your colors that you use to make the galaxy and make vertical lines on the bottom half of the paper. Now you can either use your finger for this, or you can use a piece of paper for this next step. Using your finger might be a lot easier for beginners, but I'm going to use a piece of paper. You can follow me on this if you want to. So again, make sure that the paint is wet to make the texture of water. And all I'm doing is very carefully just going back and forth with the piece of paper all the way down to the bottom. Also, I should let you guys know that I'm using an 11x14 Art Skills poster board for this painting, which is the size that I'm gonna recommend everyone use if you're a beginner. I'll leave a link in the description below for this paper. You can use your own colors if you want to, but I'm also gonna leave a list in the description below of all the colors that I'm using for this painting. Then after that, the next step would be to take your white spray paint and make a line in the middle of the water. But in these next steps that you're seeing me do is just me doing a little extra because I wasn't too happy with the texture of the water that I had in the first place. So all I was doing was just kind of repeating the process of everything that I just did. So just like in the last video that I made, how to make a planet with spray paint, just try to follow along if you're unhappy with what you have. But if you are happy with what you have, then disregard everything that I'm doing. By the way, if you haven't seen my tutorial on how to make a planet with spray paint, you should totally check that out if you're a beginner, or if you want to learn how to make art with spray paint. Okay, time for the next step. I like to use paper as a palette for my paint, like a little painting palette. So take some black spray paint and just make a big glob on a separate piece of paper. Now take another piece of paper and tear the corner of it off, and we're going to use that as a paintbrush. Take the piece of torn paper and we're gonna make that little rock with it. It's kind of hard for me to explain how to do this, so again, just kind of look at what I'm doing and just follow my technique and follow the steps that I'm doing. Now it's time to make that little stick figure. Now the stick figure that I made was a little wonky. It didn't really turn out the way how I wanted it to, but overall I'm happy with the painting. So just kind of like follow the things that I'm doing right now. It's not that hard to make a stick figure. Just, you know, all you gotta do is just make the legs and just kind of make a little like squarish type shape on top of the legs, and then make the arms and the head, and that's all you gotta do to make a stick figure for your spray painting. Now, of course, at the end of every piece of art that anyone makes, we sign it, just like how you're seeing me sign it, like so. Now, this next part is optional. I decided to put birds in the distance, so all I did was I took a piece of paper and I folded it in half, like completely, and I used the same palette of black that I made earlier, and I dipped the folded piece of paper in it. And all I did was make like a little, they look like little V's a little bit, like the letter V, and that's how you kind of make birds in the distance. This next part is also optional. So I'm making brighter stars, and all I'm doing is taking my palette knife and my white spray paint, and I'm spraying my white spray paint onto my palette knife, and after removing all of the excess, I just make little X's to make bright stars. That's it. I hope this painting wasn't too hard for anyone. Feel free to rewind back to any steps that you might have missed. And to anyone who gave this painting a shot, I would like to see your work. Don't worry, I'm not going to criticize anyone's work, especially if you're a beginner at this. Really, because I want to see how good of a teacher I was. But tag me in it on Instagram, on my Instagram page. I'll leave a link in the description below. And awesome, that's pretty much it. So if you like this tutorial, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you want more tutorials like this, make sure you hit the subscribe button and click that notification bell so you won't miss out on any videos. Also, check out my other videos. I'll leave some links in the description below of all my other videos. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video.